Sean and Joe, another episode ready to go. They're gonna talk about the good and the trash and anything in between. Cherishing make-believe, get ready for Halloween. It's the horror show. I know you missed those guys. Tune in and find out what's on their list tonight. They butcher and dissect, take apart and mutilate. Listen to your two favorite brainiacs communicate. It's the horror show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Horror Show. Show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
Hello, Joe.
What's going on?
Nothing, man. We have the best fans, man. Everyone is just so excited about us coming back, and it's been like 2 months, but there's still people finding out about it, you know, and it's so exciting to get messages. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm glad we're starting it off like this because we really do. I mean, this run around, or this time around, more people are reaching out that I didn't get to interact with the first time, or people are just discovering us, or they just didn't reach out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they're fucking awesome. Every single one of you, you're much appreciated. The response has been great, and I couldn't be happier to be back.
Dude, it's crazy. I went through a lot of emails. Dude, I was backed up through emails through like I think it was just the beginning of September, maybe end of August. It was insane. So I finally got back to everyone. That was my homework last night. It was awful. So I'm sorry if the emails are short, but I was trying to get back to everyone. But I do. Oh my God, I appreciate all of you. It was so, it was insane. It was overwhelming. And yeah, the amount of people that found us while we were away is really interesting to me. Like, how much would that suck? Like, you check in on the show and they're alive and well and you're like, okay, I'm going to work my way up. And I've done that before on a podcast, but then somehow for them to end like while you're working your way up must be the most devastating thing. And then for that last episode, for what it was, I shouldn't be laughing, but it's so fucking funny.
I think deep down we knew we would come back. Like,
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I did not know. I did not know, honestly. I was, I'm glad I am. I'm glad it's back. But yeah, I guess you're right deep down because I didn't sell anything. I didn't get rid of the domain. So,
I told you, I look forward to it now, especially like how crazy this year has been. Like, there's nothing to do, you know, there's nothing to fucking do. It's like such a nice break in the routine and the monotony.
Oh man, it really is. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's the recording format now too. I don't know. There's something about it where it's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun to choose our own movies and kind of do that. And speaking of choosing our own movies, we did Kabukiman kind of on a whim, and I'm glad we did it.
Did it. Well, first off, in Trovember fashion, I have indulged quite a bit before recording this one, but I am far less miserable, or I was far less miserable watching this one than I was last time. And I was a little nervous, you know, because just look at Sergeant Kabukiman. He's like a fucking idiot.
Joe, I just spit wine all over my... Oh my God, I made a mess. Holy shit. All right, I'm going to try and clean this up while you talk. Oh my God.
I've never seen Sergeant Kabukiman, but like I've heard of him, and I've put it off for that very reason. Like, he looks like a fucking asshole. There's no way this is going to be good, right? And then after watching that piece of shit we watched last week, Rabid Grannies, I was so uninterested in watching Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D. But you know what? Lloyd is fucking good at what he does. If it's the Troma movies that they distribute, aside from that, the one that Trey Stone and Matt Parker did.
Yeah, Cannibal the Musical.
Cannibal the Musical. You know, most of the movies that they grab and distribute
dog shit
are fucking terrible. And honestly, that makes sense because Troma's buying them for a reason. You know, they're paying dirt cheap to distribute them. But the ones that Lloyd directs, you know, Lloyd, he's got this like certain charm to him because this movie, like, I should not have enjoyed it. It's as low budget as can be. It's as stupid as it can be. It's borderline offensive. You know, it's like it just takes every stereotype and just throws it in your face. But like it never like comes from a malicious place. Like nothing about it should work. But I fucking enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed it.
Well, especially when you like factor in that Lloyd, like we discussed last week, Lloyd thinks all these movies are going to be blockbusters, which is hilarious. Like you factor that into his mindset, and you're just like I'm not trying to give him a pass on some of the shit because there is some weird offensive shit, but like at the same time, it's just like I don't know. It's also not offensive. The race thing gets iffy, but the one thing that I don't know, I don't need to get into it, but just like all these odd characters, and they're not in there to be made fun of. Does that make sense?
Dude, it does.
There's a lot of cross-dressing. There's little people. There's all sorts of people, and they just play roles. Like they're not like, look at this guy. You know what I mean? It's really interesting.
That's the thing. It never comes from a like mean-spirited place, which you know some people could probably interpret it like that. Mm-hmm. But when I watch it, I'm not like he's not picking on this specific group of people. Like, he's just including them in there. It's just like a hodgepodge of everybody out there in the world like being in this movie.
Right. You know? Like this movie's old, and there's a little person just in the background as being a high level like executive leaving a building, and it's like you notice that, and it's just I don't want to say it's odd, but for that time period, for it not to be the joke, and you'd imagine with Troma's reputation it would be a joke, and it's not at all. Like it was probably just Lloyd's friend.
Right. Dude, so this movie, it's the Toxic Avenger, right?
Yes.
Like it's some soft-spoken bumbling idiot who transforms, and then he still should not have that same voice, you know, while he's in that character, but he does. And it's essentially the same formula. Like yes. Lloyd was just like, this worked, why not do it again?
Yes.
And you know what? Good for Lloyd, because it did work again. Like it's completely enjoyable.
Well, you know, one thing we mentioned too last week was Namco, the video game company, was involved in this. And they loved Toxic Avenger 2. They thought it was so honorable that Lloyd filmed it in Japan. And so they gave them $1.5 million just to start making the movie. Like, dude, that's probably more money than Lloyd's ever seen in his life. Now, I found I think it's from Lloyd's book, but I found the whole segment on the origin of Kabukiman in it. I wish I could read the whole thing, but I'm not going to. But he basically breaks down everything that happened here, where Toxic Avenger had a character named Kabuki Boy, and that's kind of where it started. He ended up being cut from the film. Japanese press loved Toxic Avenger 2, and during the press conferences, he joked that he was going to make a new superhero called Kabuki Boy. And that's when Namco got involved, and they were like, hey, we want to make... they wanted to make a character that would be sold internationally. It's like the big superhero, right? I'm laughing just thinking about this, like putting this in Lloyd's hands. They thought that a Kabuki superhero movie shot in America would make money, and that's why they gave him the money right off the bat. And Lloyd says, sounds fantastic, you may say. How could it go wrong? Well, at the time, I just didn't get it. Namco wanted a mainstream film. They saw Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D. as a chance to make a character that wasn't only an international famous film, but also in toys, video games, cartoons, and in their amusement theme parks. They saw a character that was largely for kids, but could appeal to teenagers and adults as well. They saw a brightly colored, multicultural Batman, but I couldn't stay away from extremism. I saw a Troma movie. In the end, we satisfied neither side.
Well, I don't know if this part made it in our Lloyd interview, but I distinctly remember Lloyd saying this to us, because he did say that every time he makes a movie, he expects it to be huge. But it was you that asked him the question. You're like, dude, how were you fucking like startled that people were making like Toxic Avenger cartoons and like trading cards and stuff? And he was like, I can assure you, there is nobody more shocked than I am. And it's like, of course, dude. Like, and that's probably what these executives thought would happen. Like, why was there a Toxic Avenger card? Who watched the Toxic Avenger? It was like, let's make a Sunday morning or Saturday morning cartoon. I I honestly don't understand the process to that. It's like, it's honestly not that far off from somebody watching Basket Case and being like, let's throw Belial on, let's give him his own Saturday morning cartoon and just, we'll make trading cards and just, we'll sell action figures to kids. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
It really is, because there's nothing to me. When you watch Toxic Avenger, there is nothing about that that's marketable to me. Like
there's nothing. Nothing. People shouldn't have even watched. Like, how do people come across that? But it was mainstream. People that don't like horror, people that don't like shitty, schlock.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who the Toxic Avenger is. Literally everybody. They had those toys that looked like the Ninja Turtle toys. He had the mop and all that.
Dude, it was insane. And they're remaking those toys now because of how much people loved them back then. Did you know that?
I did not know.
They've remade them in a higher scale, and they cost $100. Fucking insanity.
Yeah, man. Dude, Lloyd, it's fucking crazy. But I don't blame these executives at Namco to be like, please just emulate this and,
No, I mean, it kind of made sense, but but
then we got this.
Literally every 50, no, not even that. Probably every 10 minutes in my head, I was like, what was Namco thinking at this point? Losing their minds, probably. Because they're also they wanted it to be international, but forget international. You want your own people in Japan to be like, oh yeah, this is our hero. And the guy's like, oh, I love smelly dead fish. What's wrong with me? And just eating a fish crazy. Raw, scales and all. Oh my
dude! I do have to say, Lloyd is really good at effect. The scene at the end with the disgusting face melting and transformation.
It's insane.
It's honestly up there with the best of them. It's like, why do you save all your talent for 10 minutes in every movie that you do?
Dude, it's so nuts. Also, one other quote I wanted to read from Lloyd's book was he started shooting as soon as they got the money, right? And guys from Namco had come to the United States to see how shooting was going, and Lloyd was kind of just making it up as he went along. And he says, I dreamed it up the night before. That day we were shooting in a gym, which coincidentally had a climbing rope. I was ecstatic about my visionary dream and told everyone about it. Kabukiman would somehow, through magical powers, turn the climbing rope into a snake, which would slide up the bad guy's ass and exit from his mouth, thus killing him. I had imagined the cast and crew would see how providential this all was. However, instead, they all stood before me with slightly disgusted faces. What? I said, you don't like it? It'll be great. No one smiled. They just stood there staring at me as if I were insane. And then an executive had to pull him aside and be like, dude, we're not fucking doing that. What are you talking about?
Dude, I would love to work on especially in those days, work on a set with Lloyd and just watch the fucking shit that he spews from his mouth and see everybody's reaction.
Dude, it's insane because after his talk with the executive after that, he was like, oh man, that's when I realized how great of a kids movie this would be. What are you talking about?
That is the thing with Lloyd is I don't know if he's just perpetually trolling or not.
Exactly.
When we talked to him, he claimed that he once took a bath with George W. Bush because they went to Yale together, which that is a fact. And he said it so seriously and nonchalantly, and it had nothing to do with anything else he was saying. I was like, wait, really? And he's like, oh yeah, and then just moved on. I'm like, I don't know if you're fucking with me or if you actually took a bath with George W. Bush.
Oh, Joe. Sorry, I'm scrolling through this. All right, so wait, time out. So he says, okay. Now this lines up exactly with what you're talking about with the trolling. So he decides that Sergeant Kabukiman would be great for kids, right? So he says, I agree. I think kids will love it. The executive goes, so then you won't put the snake scene in? I stared blankly at him. He stared back at me, a little less blankly than me, but still pretty blankly. I don't get you, I said. Where's the connection? He said, you can't have a kid's movie with a snake crawling up some guy's ass. Oh, yes. But it'd be funny. It's not that funny, Lloyd. It's kind of weird. Lloyd ultimately decided he tried to put it in his next movie.
Did he? What movie was it?
I don't know if he even did or not. Dude, having that conversation, thinking, oh, I get it, it's a kid's movie, and still thinking you're going to put that snake scene in it.
Dude, we used to talk about that all the time when we first started the show, about how somebody had to pitch these ideas to, like, board of executives. Like, all I can picture is, like, somebody, like, Vince McMahon style, just sitting there and having Lloyd just pitch it to him, and then just getting up and walking out.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
But what if there's a snake and it goes up his asshole?
And kills him. He turns a gym rope into a snake. That's so stupid. Like, Joe, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the fact that they didn't just shut the production down on this is alarming, because
Dude, that's 100% what I would do. Like, if two no names like us decided to fund a movie and we hired some guy and we're like, please try to angle this like internationally and towards kids so we can make money. And they're like, what if he shoves a snake up somebody's ass? I'd cut my losses and just go home. That's it.
Like,
I'm not doing this anymore.
You gave very specific directions, and that's what he's coming up with on the fly. Oh my God. And Joe, in the middle of this movie, he turns into a clown, the main character, and that lasts for like 25, 30 minutes, and it's unbelievable.
So that is, I'm glad you said that. That is my one qualm with this movie. I truly did enjoy it. I thought it was a great low budget movie. I thought it was funny. I mean, it's over 90 minutes, and when you think it ends, there's still like somehow 35 minutes left, and you're like, what the fuck, Lloyd? Like, just wrap this up. Well,
So to be fair, I don't know what version we have. Well, we definitely have not the theater release. This is not the theater release, because the theater release, as we talked about, was PG-13. So this was not PG-13 for sure.
Right.
But I would love to know how long that original one was. I'm going to try and look.
The one that we watched?
No. Ours was an hour and 45 minutes. It felt exhausting.
Yeah.
No. See, this runtime says it's an hour and 45 minutes too. I don't know. So maybe, I mean, I don't know.
It wasn't, like, there was not that much nudity or that much gore for a Troma film.
No.
It was pretty tame for a Troma film.
And it was it was 1990. So PG-13 did exist. That's weird.
It has that. This is the one that has the car chase scene that he uses in every single movie.
Yeah.
when that Thunderbird fucking flips upside down, he uses it in every single movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Kabukiman turned into kind of Troma's guy that like goes to cons and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a while there. I remember in high school and the years following Troma, and it was always like Kabukiman had these shows online and would show up to red carpets. And I actually found some of those videos today while just searching around for Kabukiman, and they're painful. Dude, Kabukiman's just standing next to the red carpet with a sign that says Sergeant Kabukiman, and he's not even interacting with the stars, but it's cut like a prank reel. Like, stars walk by him and it like freeze frames, and he's like, "Gotcha, Robert Downey Jr." Like, dude, he did not even look at you. Like, he did not make eye contact with you whatsoever, and you did nothing.
Oh, he's the real life spaghetti.
Dude, holy shit. It was the spaghetti gag. It was 100% the spaghetti gag.
Yeah, I saw him standing over there. I thought he was the boss's kid or something.
Dude, that's exactly what it was, because he was just standing there with a fucking sign. The only alarming thing is Tilda Swinton took a picture with him, which I don't know. I don't know why.
That's awesome.
I do feel like there are these celebrities that know Lloyd somehow and just appreciate him for who he is.
Well, Kabukiman's in that Moby music video.
Which is insane. Which is insane. Also, can we just say fuck Moby? I hate Moby.
What's your beef with Moby? Come on.
Moby sucks.
Play was a good album.
Hey, I have a really random thing that I did want to talk to you about on a Patreon bonus, and probably should not talk about because we have a movie to discuss. But what are your thoughts on Meatloaf? What are your thoughts on Meatloaf?
Dude, I saw you were listening to Meatloaf earlier today. Because, you can see what people are listening to on Spotify if you have the desktop app. Yeah. I don't have a problem with Meatloaf.
So, I'm just going to say something. So, this started because I watched this show on HBO. I forget what it's called. John Wilson. I don't know. It's an amazing show. But anyway, at the end of one episode, he played in the entirety, all like 12 minutes of objects in the rearview mirror may be closer than they appear. And I was laughing so hard while I was listening because I haven't heard that song in forever. And just the fact that is the chorus to a song is unreal. But the fact that it's a chorus to a Meatloaf song makes total sense. I just have a lot of... what album is better? Bat Out of Hell or Bat Out of Hell 2?
Bat Out of Hell. All day.
I agree. Bat Out of Hell 2, though, was wild. And I feel like it was the more popular album.
Oh, dude, the first Bat Out of Hell, isn't that one of the best-selling albums of all time?
Is it? I don't know. So, like, that, I didn't do any research. I was just curious, because it's wild. And Bat Out of Hell 2 opens with I Would Do Anything for Love, which I thought was a little crazy.
Yeah, that song fucking sucks. It does. That song fucking sucks.
If here's what I'll say about that song. I don't like that song. However, if Meatloaf composed and wrote it, I'd give him props, because musically, it's amazing.
Well, Meatloaf's a good musician. What's the song? Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. It's fucking great. Title song of Bat Out of Hell is fantastic.
Yeah. Does he play the guitar or no?
Yeah, he plays instruments.
And he classifies himself as hard rock, right?
But on that first album, Todd Rundgren plays all the instruments.
Oh.
Fun fact.
But does he classify himself as hard rock?
He does.
That's insane.
Dude,
that's insane.
I know a lot of metalheads that fucking love Meatloaf.
Joe, he came up with the best scam, which was he wrote ballads and then just put like fucking like Iron Maiden type fucking cover art on all of his album covers.
It's true. It's just like dragons
and just
big
and just talked about hell constantly in the song titles. But every fucking song is just like, I fucking love you and I miss you. Anyway,
it's true.
That was our Meatloaf break. Kabukiman.
Yeah, the people that hate our tangents are gonna love this episode.
I've been thinking about Meatloaf a lot lately. I don't know. Anyway, Kabukiman does not have Meatloaf in it though.
It should. Has Meatloaf been in the Troma movie? I feel like he should.
He probably should have been, but I don't know. He's also he's a hard get. Well, I guess he's not that hard of a get.
Movie. No, he's not that hard to get. Are you kidding me?
So we open up of it with a Japanese tale of a chosen one who is here to save the world. While this is happening, this opening jumps around a bit. We get a bunch of like Wolf of Wall Street types doing coke on the roof of their car. This is only here for one reason. So, but unlike other movies we do, at least the randomness like has a reason to it. Usually, in the end, like Lloyd showed these idiots for one reason. Then we cut now. So we've gone from an ancient Japanese tale of a chosen one to the Wolves of Wall Street outside to some kids in Japanese outfit being stabbed by a guy who shows up and is like
fucking crazy.
That is the hottest open I've ever seen.
Dude, honestly, that was my exact thought, Sean. I was like, I cannot believe this fucking movie is opening with two kids just being stabbed by an asshole in a wig. Like, because that guy's wig is fucking absurd too. But he doesn't show the murder, thank God. But the two kids are just playing, and like this guy comes in, and he's honestly one of the biggest psychopaths I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, you just look at that guy, and that guy's fucking crazy, and he kills the kids.
Up there with No Country for Old Men. Like, these two should battle.
Dude, this guy looks way more unhinged than that fucking idiot with the bolt gun.
This guy is crazy. This guy is actually a terrifying villain. And he stabs the kids. We don't see it, but unfortunately, in a few minutes, some guy will describe it as like shredded wheat or something like that. So you don't get to see it, but you get to hear a man be like, "Yeah, they tore these kids into shredded fucking wheat." After killing the kids, he moves into the bedroom where he stabs a guy, and he goes, "Bye-bye, Kabukiman. Looks like you and your family are through." So Kabukiman lived prior to this movie, and he said, "You can't kill me, but you can kill me, but you can't kill the spirit of Kabukiman." And then he proceeds to take that man's wife and throw her out a fucking window. like body slam her out of a window, which you would assume, this being Troma, that she is going to hit like the car below and just splatter. Right. You know what I mean? Instead, what we get is she lands on the coke head outside, the guys that were doing coke, and they just kind of die. There's no like gore. Just it's actually ridiculous because her bare ass is just next to his face.
Dude, everything you just said made me laugh even harder because you're just expecting like a gore fest, right? It's just the complete opposite.
Just total fake out. A bare ass on this guy's face who's like, "Woo!" And honestly, the fact that there's no fart noise here is alarming for a Troma movie.
I agreed.
But did you notice? Here's something I noticed. They didn't start with the sound dubbing until like 3/4 of the way through the movie.
I also picked that up.
Okay, because I do feel like had this been... I feel like they just missed the first half of the movie. Because I feel like if they did, there would absolutely be a fart noise there. Like, you see the butt, you see the face, and it would just be like... Bah! And then it cuts. It only makes sense.
Why has Troma not done the telltale fart?
The telltale fart?
Dude, that has Troma written all... Because the telltale heart is about somebody who killed somebody and like his conscience is eating him alive, you know, it's just like torturing him.
Yeah.
Like the telltale fart, just have somebody fart and just lose their mind when people are trying to figure out who did it and like clearing out the room. It has Troma written all over it. Fucking call me, Lloyd.
There is a movie called The Telltale Fart.
Oh, come on.
The picture of the guy is so fucking funny. Oh, it's a 12-minute short, whatever. Yeah, dude, that sounds perfect. I was at the grocery store and I had a little bit of that the other day. It was crazy. The place stunk. Place fucking stunk. No one was being held accountable.
Were you the culprit?
I was not. But then later that night, I went to the package store and then I was most definitely the culprit. And I was in the wine section, and I fucking farted and. Oh my god, it smells so bad. And then this fucking Jack dude came up behind me. Like he was like 6'2" and huge. And I just like walked away. That'll never not be funny.
I dude, agreed. Dude, people criticize Sandler as like, this guy still thinks fart jokes are funny. Like, yeah, of course he does.
They're so fucking funny. Oh man. So they're all dead. We meet Griswold. Griswold's the name. Detective Harry Griswold, N.Y.P.D. Detective Harry Griswold is not a great cop. He's the one working the case of the murdered family, which he describes as a normal New York City massacre. And then we hop to a lifestyle of the rich and famous joke, which most people listening to the show, I feel like, don't know what that is. Most kids these days. And then why? I don't even know why this is happening in this movie, because they're not covering a rich person; they're covering a play. So I'm not totally sure. But they're covering this kabuki performance that Harry Griswold is also going to. And he describes kabuki, Mr. Harry, he describes kabuki as men dressed up as women and making weird noises, which seemed incorrect. So I Googled it just to... Do you know what kabuki is or no?
Not a clue.
It's a classical Japanese dance drama. Kabuki theater is known for the stylization of its drama, the often glamorous costumes worn by performers, and for the elaborate kumadori makeup worn by its performers. It's just like a high-class, I don't want to call it ballet or something, but like a high-class dance type of performance, right? So not at all what he said. So, and throughout the course of the movie, they'll constantly make a joke about them wearing dresses, which I guess, to me, I don't know. The kimono just doesn't strike me as a dress, but throughout the movie, at least the first half, it's just like, Harry's wearing a fucking dress. We found Harry in a fucking dress today. And it's just like, oh, okay. So from this lifestyle of the rich and famous, we cut to this old kabuki guy eating fucking worms, which is juxtaposed with Harry eating coleslaw.
Yes.
And
love it.
There's moments in Troma movies, especially the Lloyd directed ones, where I can't tell whether it's intentionally supposed to be funny or if it's supposed to be like earnest, right? Like, I don't know whether this was supposed to be like, oh my God, like a connection here, or if I'm supposed to laugh, because I was laughing. Like, it's stupid to watch coleslaw coming out of this guy's mouth and it compared to a man eating a giant pile of worms.
Right.
Ah, boy. We see this insane sacrifice scene. Well, no, we saw like a sacrifice scene at the beginning, right? Like a hand being lit on fire of this elderly kabuki man with a woman and her grandfather. It turns out that was all happening backstage at the kabuki show. which is alarming because it did not seem that way. It seemed like they were in a cave. And during this performance, Harry is in the crowd eating chips like in a woman's ear. And I don't even know why Harry is there.
I don't know.
Because Harry does not appear to be the man that goes to a kabuki show. But he is there. And so are all the kabuki who are wearing Mets hats. Which I thought was alarming until I realized they were not part of the show. And that makes a lot of sense because that was the most Troma villain-esque thing I've ever seen, right? Troma villains... just dress like insane people. And so they were all Troma villains. They all pull out guns. All these kabuki performers pull out guns, which is also weird because, you know, there were like, why didn't anyone else in the performance be like, hey, who are these guys in fucking Mets hats?
These guys weren't rehearsing with us. You know?
And they start shooting everyone, including the kabuki grandfather and the lady next to Harry, who Harry's like, the crowd is laughing hysterically, by the way.
Right.
Which from the description I gave you of kabuki, it didn't say comedy anywhere in there.
Or also live gunshots in like a feudal Japan steam play.
And everyone in the crowd is laughing hysterically. They're just laughing their asses off. Including Harry, who looks at the dead woman next to him, whose head is slumped over. I was like, this is great, isn't it? And then lifts up her head, and she's got a fucking bullet in her head. And that's when Harry's like, hey, wait a minute. And Harry stands up.
Although, That probably would be my reaction. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I was if I was dragged to a kabuki play and then fucking a gunfight erupted, I don't think I would be like annoyed. I think I'd probably laugh out loud. Like it reminds me of like when the KLF did that award show in Britain. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And they brought the grindcore band out, and then the lead singer fired live round or blanks to the crowd.
Who were they replacing?
No, it was them. The KLF was supposed to play their hit 3 a.m.
Oh, that's right.
They brought out
the grindcore.
They brought out extreme noise.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. The people that are there in the audience are like, "Oh, the KLF's coming. They're going to play this."
I mean, I guess you're right.
Song.
I guess you're fucking.
And the guy is firing a machine gun filled with blanks at the crowd.
And didn't they also have a decapitated pig head or sheep head?
Yeah, a sheep, and they left it on the steps. And the grindcore band was like, "Hey guys, this is too extreme. Like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore."
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
But I brought that up because I remember them panning to the audience, and like half of them were just like mouth open, and the other ones were just looking around laughing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was so fucking weird. Yeah, I guess that would be the case. I don't know. I have no idea. But excuse me. Harry finally figures something's wrong, and he stands up, holds up his badge, which gets shot out of his hand. And then he starts fighting these kabuki guys who have assault weapons. He starts fighting them barehanded. The main baddie is our guy in the blonde wig again. He'll continue to show up throughout the movie. And I kind of like him as a bad guy. He's kind of fucked up.
I like it. Sorry, I was drinking. I like him a lot as a bad guy. And I also love the bumbling idiot bad guy that he's always with.
Oh my god!
The one with the shitty teeth.
The giant jacked
the best
one.
Character ever.
Yeah. The main that guy with the blonde wig. He tries to what appears to be sucking the soul out of the grandpa, but the daughter stops it. And as that's happening, one of those bearded 80 guys that's in every Troma movie, he's about to shoot her, but Harry jumps in and shoots him in the dick twice. And he falls backwards through the set window. Which, like, realistically, if you think about that scene, your brain kind of just interprets it as he fell out of a window. But in reality, he fell out of a set window. Nothing extra has happened besides he got shot in the balls.
Shot in the dick.
The daughter flips him over because she's like, "Get off of me." And Grandpa Kabuki spits worms into Harry's mouth.
Yeah.
And you get the vibe that he has transferred his Kabuki powers to Harry. Which is true. And then we find that out like in 2 seconds because Harry runs outside in slow motion, falls down a set of steps, which I'm not sure was intentional or not. Because then it cuts and he has become Kabuki Man. Not full Kabuki Man, though.
That's my favorite part about these movies is like you can see it happening and the audience knows what's happening, but the character also narrates it. He's like, "What's happening to me? Could I be slowly turning into a Kabuki Man?" Yeah, we know, Lloyd. Lloyd, we know what's happening.
Which is also hilarious because throughout the movie, this guy's like, "I'm not fucking Kabuki Man," but his internal monologue is like, "Have I become Kabuki Man?" Joe, even after he full on becomes Kabuki Man and murders people, the woman's like, "You're Kabuki Man?" And he's like, "I am not Kabuki Man. This is bullshit."
You're right. He says it out loud like 50 times, but we can also like Lloyd has his inner monologue talking out loud where he's like, Could this be true?
He literally fucking wakes up in a fucking kimono. Oh my god.
I love how all of Lloyd's heroes are just bumbling idiots. Like you said, falling down the stairs and like just not doing anything right all the time.
Dude, Kabuki Man sucks for a long time. Like, at what he does, not like the movie sucks.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely terrible until the end.
Joe, the end was one of my favorite things. There's something that happens at the end, and it might be one of my favorite gags in a movie ever. It's like the ultimate dad joke that has ever happened in a movie. Anyway, I can't wait to get to it. It makes me so happy. So yeah, Harry runs outside. Harry then the investigation has already started. The baddies got away. And then fucking Harry comes back in and jumps through a window. There's some funny scenes in this. The granddaughter is over her dead grandfather, and there's just this reporter standing over her being like, so what did it feel like watching him get mowed down? Oh, man. We also meet this rich socialite, which I swear we met earlier in the movie, but I can't quite remember. And he is, of course, as any Troma movie is, he's the CEO of a company and the main villain.
Yes.
Strictly for his desire to oppress people and wanting more power than he needs.
This guy's honestly awesome. Like, I love this guy as a villain. He plays the part perfectly.
This guy's look is unbelievable. Like, yeah. Usually Troma just gets these very normal-looking human beings to portray every part. This guy has a real look, and I didn't look him up, but I'd be surprised if he didn't do more work, strictly because of his hair and his fucking eyebrows.
Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah. It was a wild look. I really enjoyed it. His part in the movie, and he might have been the only actor in the movie that like appeared to have some type of background in acting.
That's honestly true, because I looked this guy up while watching it, and he has like legit films to his name, whereas everybody else was in like 2 other Troma films, and that's the extent of the resume.
Dude, you can tell, like you can see it, and I don't know if there's many Troma movies where they have like a real actor in it. So in this movie, it was really nice to see, and he did a really great job.
Dude, you could tell he's like an actor's actor, because he honestly gave it his all.
He did give it his all. He's fucking great. Yeah, it's fucking great. We meet him, and we meet a reverend who. Listen, the story doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know what to tell you. The Reverend is running drugs and money through his churches, is what I got.
Okay.
Is that what you got?
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And we hear this conversation between the Reverend and the main bad guy, who I forget his name. I don't know his name.
Reginald.
Okay. Well, I don't know how I forgot that, but Reverend and the Reginald have a talk. And by the way, during this scene, one of the littlest touches that makes no sense, but it makes me laugh. The blonde guy, the blonde psychopath, is standing behind him as the head of security, and he is eating a cupcake this entire scene. In the background.
I love that. That's my favorite thing about Lloyd, is like those little gags that, like, there's no need for that. It's not even that funny.
It's not. And we've both watched the behind the scenes of a lot of Troma movies, and I can tell you exactly what happened, which was Lloyd was like, that would be so fucking funny if you ate a cupcake in this scene. And the guy was like, okay, and did it. And Lloyd was like, perfect. Now the scene's perfect.
It's like our buddy Mike's idea of how he wants to interview. He would always come to cons and be like, "Can I please interview someone?" And then halfway through, just start eating a sandwich. Which, who thinks of that?
And again, it's not that funny. It's just like, if you catch it, you're like, "What the fuck is happening?" Yeah. That meeting with the Reverend and Reginald, it ends with this guy Skippy being killed. And Skippy was killed because I'm not entirely sure why. At this point in the movie, you don't really even know what's happening. I think Reginald wants to start a revolution, but then he's also going to be the one to stop it, and then kind of be the hero. One of those grifts that he's got going on. But he kills Skippy, and they'll end up trying to pin Skippy with this whole killing spree. Yeah, the massacre. Yeah, that's which is insane because there's a million witnesses, and Skippy was nowhere to be seen during this entire thing. Harry goes home. He's surrounded by beer cans. He looks in the mirror. I thought this was going to play a role into it, but it doesn't, because he looks in the mirror and we see the dead grandpa's face, and he says nothing except Kabukiman. It's okay. We go to the police station, which starts turning into my favorite scenes is every time we go to the police station, because it's just fucking chaos and there's just silliness. Everything insane is happening in the background, including at one point there's like an organized dance routine happening behind the glass of the captain's office. So distracting.
And I love the police chief.
Oh, he's so good. What's even funnier is the police chief. Like, Harry sucks as a cop. And later on, after Kabukiman starts appearing and kind of causing some trouble, the police chief is the police chief's like, listen, I gotta suspend you. I'd give you another chance if it were my choice, but it's not my choice. Why would you give this guy a chance? Like, this guy's a fucking maniac dressed up as a Kabukiman. I'd give you another chance. He's also bamboozled by everything. He's like, what?
Everything.
We also meet in this scene Connie LaRosa, who is I guess the first love interest to Harry. And he asks her on a date, and he's like, oh, I hate to say it, but I'm craving Japanese food. What? Why would you hate to say it?
Why would you hate to say that?
It's so weird. And then Connie's like, no, I'm not about that. But she's like, I'll be wearing my new spandex jogging shorts to go for a run. And all of a sudden we get like, and Harry's face does a double take. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll run with you. So at this point, we're 20 minutes in. We're an hour into this show. We're 20 minutes into the movie. Imagine trying to sell this to Namco still at this point.
Right.
Like, imagine being in the theater with the Namco executives being like, they're gonna fucking love this. I can't wait to sell this to fucking kids. Fucking 2 kids are murdered in the first scene.
In the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, so the cops... Oh, wait. Even better. The police chief's like, yeah, we already caught him, Harry. We caught the guy responsible. And Harry's like, holy shit. Who was it? And he's like, yeah, he's this Japanese guy. Or he had it in for the Japanese ever since he got fired for using drugs at a Toyota plant. Those are perp's motives. And then he shows him the picture, and it's this guy Skippy, and they're arguing about what actually happened. And while this is happening, Harry's shoes start melting. I was so confused in this scene.
Dude, because it's like such a slow, like, candle wax melt too.
Joe, I'm so glad you feel that way, because it cuts to his shoes like 4 times, and never are we even kind of remotely in tune with what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, like, what's the significance of that?
We just see this guy's fucking bare toes sticking out of shoes, and the shoes melting off.
Everything we know about Kabukiman, I like the shoes are the least thing I remember. I don't even know. Does Sergeant Kabukiman even wear shoes?
Joe, I would be hard pressed to tell you if he even wears those sandals outside of the 2 scenes that they like are prominent features in. And it's so weird for them to become this like beacon for Kabukiman. But anyway, his shoes melts, and all of a sudden he's got those Japanese sandals on, those like lifted sandals. And then he can't leave the police station because he's now wearing a kimono on his bottom half and sandals. Oh my god! As Harry leaves, he meets the granddaughter, who's like, "All right, you got to eat worms." We don't know why he has to eat worms, but that just is a thing.
Dude, I meant to ask you this before. He might actually be eating worms.
I'm 90% sure they ate real worms in the scenes where they eat worms in this.
Right?
Yes. I mean, Boogeyman did it.
I mean, you know.
You know that story, right?
Assholes.
You know that story, right?
I do.
Should I tell it?
About the doctor?
About how he told CM Punk that he was having stomach pain. And CM Punk was like, "Hey man, like CM Punk was like, why do you have stomach pains?" He's like, "I don't know, man, like it doesn't make sense." And CM Punk's like, "Hey man, you don't eat the worms, do you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I do." And CM Punk was like, "You have to go see a fucking doctor." And the doctor was like, "You need to stop eating worms." And he's like, "But I eat worms." Like,
Boogeyman's such a fucking idiot.
dude, because that would be our reaction if we saw somebody like that. We'd be like, "You don't actually eat those, right?" He'd be like, "No, no, I do." I'd be like, "What the fuck?" Well, that's why your stomach hurts.
Yeah, of course is why it's hurt. Also, stand fucking way farther away from me.
You know, like, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. So Lotus, who is the granddaughter, anyway, she sort of tells the backstory, not really. And Harry just keeps being like, oh god. The only issue here with the whole race thing is really just Harry, like, constantly being like, "Will you speak English?" And she's speaking English like perfectly clearly. But it's just a little bit alarming, some of the stuff he says. But basically what she tells him is that there's evil on Earth and he's got to kind of do a few things to, the evil one will present itself eventually, and Harry has to do it. And also, fucking Lotus shuts him the fuck down and calls him a penis-wielding idiot, which 100% accurate. We get a scene where Harry meets the rich guy. What's his name?
Reginald.
And Reginald has a samurai sword on the table. And Harry's like, "Oh, is that a 1800s Fujiwara samurai blade manufactured in wherever?" And the guy's like, "Oh, why, yes. How did you know that?"
Dude, these scenes like this make me laugh so hard. And we're supposed to believe he's like under a trance, but he talks exactly the same.
Exactly.
It's so hard to distinguish. And the only reason we know that he's under a trance is because he takes the sword and he like fucking chops the shit out of everything and almost stabs the bad guy, which the movie could have just ended, you know. The end game is right there. But then as soon as he like almost stabs him, he's like, "Whoa, I was under a spell or something." It's like
Joe, it's so weird. I'm so glad you like picked up on all this stuff because it really is like so bad. And that's the feature, right? Is you can't tell because he doesn't change his voice. He doesn't change anything. He's just swinging the blade around, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh my gosh, I came to," and then like uncontrollably throws the blade into a couch, which gets stuck, and then knocks over a vase, like some ancient vase. Like, and that's how we're supposed to know there's two sides to Harry at this point. Oh man. He goes running with Connie LaRosa, who is in her spandex that she claimed that she had, and she does. And he shows up in a fucking suit. But it's okay, because LaRosa, while they're getting ready to run, just randomly tells him literally everything that's happening with the bad guys. But then ends it with being like, "I gotta put all this together, you know, to send to the captain to bust him. You told us everything." She explains that the Reverend is like running money and drugs for this guy. this guy's crooked and not paying taxes and all this stuff. Everything makes sense now. We know everything. But unfortunately, as with most Troma films, she runs away and then the Troma goons capture her and rape her, which is never fucking fun. And Harry tries to stop them and he gets his fucking ass beat. Just beat. And back to the sandals that Kabukiman, I guess, gets his powers from. The sandals are on the other side of the park that they're running in, and they come flying, and we get this like POV from the sandals' point of view, kind of flying over the park, and they knock a goon out, and they are put on Harry's feet, and Harry goes into this Kabukiman cocoon using the Kabukiman cape.
Which, why are these guys in cocoons? Because at the end,
there's another cocoon.
The villain goes into a cocoon, which again, Lloyd has the character narrate to you. It's like the Bob Saget, America's Funniest Home Video voice. He's like, haha, I'm turning into a cocoon.
yes.
Even though we can clearly see it.
Wait, I know we're going to get to it, but one of my favorite things is randomly at the end of the movie, the monkey starts talking. And I don't mean talking, but just like dubbed over like, Kabukiman. So random. Anyway, yeah, so they get into a kabuki cocoon. And this transformation scene is insane. I loved it. I thought it was incredible. Like, they had like white liquid pouring over his face, Harry's face, as you know, as if the paint is coming onto his face, right? And I was like, that's fucking like genuinely genius. I fucking loved it.
Lloyd's effects are honestly top notch for so little.
And like the way they're applied too is like a big part of that. And like he did not have to show us Kabukiman's transformation. But he does, and we get a look at Kabukiman for the first time. And then he immediately starts singing opera for some reason.
Dude, is that, like, I wanted to ask you, is that a thing? Because he's singing such beautiful opera.
Dude, I mean, it's like a dance musical type thing, so I imagine maybe some of them sing, but not like that. It sounded like an Italian opera.
Everything about this scene is so fucking awesome.
Like when he cartwheels into a light post for no reason. What the fuck is happening? And then we start seeing the Kabuki powers. What he's been endowed with, which, number one, a fan.
It's just all stereotypes.
All stereotypes. But listen, the fan, I feel like that's kind of like a traditional thing. I don't think that's
I agree.
offensive. And he blows guys into a tree with it, which fucking ridiculous, but I'll take it. It's all right. Then his second power. Oh, by the way, there's a homeless guy drinking Thunderbird throughout these scenes for some reason that they keep cutting to, and I love it so much. Bum wine. The second power we get is his samurai sword. Natural, right? That's a good choice. I like it. And he slices up a bat into like pepperoni. Okay, I'm fine with that. The third power, iffy. Very iffy. And that's because he shoots chopsticks through a man and like sticks him to a tree with chopsticks.
And dude, it doesn't even kill. First, it's like 50 chopsticks through his face, and somehow it doesn't kill him. The guy pulls out, and it's like, huh?
And then the other baddie, he shoots sushi into her mouth. Just huge chunks of sushi. Which, honestly, terrible way to die if you choked.
Agreed.
Choking somebody to death with food, that's fucking terrible.
Also, we mentioned this guy before, but the guy with the terrible teeth, but super jacked.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's so funny in this scene because he's such a bumbling idiot. And from this point on, because he gets his ass kicked, from this point on, he's like, who is that guy?
Dude, for the rest of the movie, everyone is so confused about Kabukiman showing up. And then his final power is the power of Michael Myers, which is squishing a man's head with one foot, with one single step. So good for him. Which, by the way, if you see your kill in a Troma movie, just don't do it, probably. Don't expect people to take it seriously. But they do. Anyway. Yeah, it's so weird. It squishes his head. Harry and
the police show up at this scene and try to like apprehend Kabukiman. And instead of like, Kabukiman can fly or incapacitate everybody, but instead he fumbles around to find his ID for like 15 minutes.
Wait, and which, by the way, they're like, he shows up as Kabukiman. Kabukiman's there, and they're like, "Hey, who's this fucking guy?" And he's like, "Hey guys, it's Harry." And they're like, "We know fucking Harry, and we know he's been wearing a dress around town, but who the fuck are you?" And then all he does is show him Harry's license, which he looks nothing like right now.
Nothing like it. Could literally be anybody. I thought
like,
the same
holy
thing.
shit, it's fucking Harry.
Also, it happens multiple times throughout the movie, right?
It's insane.
He just keeps showing up like, "Who the hell are you?"
And every time he's like, "I'm Harry," and they're like, "You ain't no fucking Harry." It's so fucking crazy. I love it so much. Oh my god. This movie's fucking great. Including this scene where he goes to an Italian restaurant and meets Lotus there. And he orders a raw fish, I shouldn't even say raw fish, just a fish.
Just a fish. It's not scaled or anything.
It is a fish with eyeballs and scales. And the woman at the Italian restaurant wearing an American flag headband, which didn't quite understand, and it's like, who comes to an Italian restaurant and orders fish? She's not wrong, but also, why are you serving it?
I mean, a lot of fish at Italian restaurants.
You not a scaled fish.
Well, yeah, sure, but that's not at any restaurant. That's not a thing.
Anyway, he starts eating the fish with the scales on it, and I almost fucking threw up because he takes a fucking bite and then he tilts it, and like, dude, they like had somebody take a bite out of a real fucking fish. It's a real fucking fish. Like, it's fucking disgusting. I almost fucking threw up. I'm about to throw up again thinking about it. And by the way, this is what that scene that I was talking about, because Lotus is like, "Hey, you're Kabukiman. We need you to save the world and end this evil." And he's like, "You're fucking nuts. I'm just a cop." Dude, you literally turned into a fucking Japanese kabuki performer in the middle of a park. And got arrested, and people were like, "Who are you?" And he's still like, "You fucking nut job." Oh boy, he goes to visit La Rosa in the hospital because she was, assaulted, and she was killed by the blonde-haired guy again, who showed up there and killed her before Harry could visit her. So that's wild. And Harry and the captain get into it. And he's pissed, and he wants, I think Snipes is the name of the pastor. Snipes. I kept hearing that name.
Don't remember.
Snipes is the pastor, anyway, I think. And he's like, "We need to arrest the pastor." And the captain's like, "Why? Because he's a pastor? Because he does great for the community?" Harry's like, "Yeah, that's why." No, so, okay, I'm going to be totally honest here. I fell asleep in this scene. Why does he turn into a clown?
Because he's trying to, like, honestly, this is what I got out of it. He's trying to manifest his kabuki powers because he's talking shit, right?
Right, and he couldn't do it. I saw that part. Like, he was like, "Ooh, ooh," but he all of a sudden couldn't get kabuki powers.
Yeah, I just interpret it as like a malfunction. Like there's no like real rhyme or reason. Like he was just trying really hard to be a kabuki man, and he turned into a clown.
Joe, that is the funniest thing I've ever fucking heard. That makes so little sense. That makes me so happy. I like fell asleep for like a few seconds, right? Like I watched him struggling, and then I wake up and he's a fucking clown, and I'm like, oh, it's Troma, so gags come and go really quickly, right? Like something like that could appear in one scene, and then he's just Kabukiman in the next scene, and you're like, oh, okay. For the next 30 minutes, I watched a movie about a guy dressed up as a clown. It was fucking insane. So he turns into a clown. He tries to stop the pastor, but that doesn't work out for him because he has clown powers. He scares a kid with a clown face and commandeers his tricycle. Maybe, do you think, Joe, this is where the fear of clowns started?
No.
That's such a fucking inside joke. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Oh, that's good.
Perhaps this is where the fear of clowns started.
That's like the most inside of inside jokes we've done on this show. It's brilliant. I wish I could explain
There's
the
no
books,
reason to explain it. Let's just keep going. The face was scary. The clown face was scary.
It was not.
Harry commandeers a tricycle, which, he's trying to chase bad guys, but instead drives straight into a fucking box truck. And the only reason that happens is so he can have a unicycle for the rest of the movie. Which, I'm going to be honest, dude, finding somebody to ride a unicycle that effectively is really impressive. Dude, the guy on that unicycle is surgical on it.
I do agree.
He is weaving. He is making sharp turns. I've never seen somebody ride a unicycle that well in my life. I'm being serious. Like, I'm being 100% serious. I was really impressed by that. But that's all about. That's it. That's it. They end up at a kid's party where bullets spray everywhere. It destroys balloons. It destroys cakes, and somehow does not hit a single other thing. There are 5,000 kids at this party, and he doesn't. No one hits a single kid. Or Kabukiman, who is a giant clown right now,
with the huge shoes and moving incredibly slow.
Also, just thinking about the making of this movie, were they shooting blanks around that many children?
Probably.
Because, Troma they were not using computer effects in 1990. I can only see it as being using blanks. That's a little bit insane. That's a little bit fucking insane to me. But I don't know. Maybe they were just totally fake guns. I don't know. But that's what's scary. That's fucking terrifying. Oh, man. This results in a car chase. One car explodes. The other car that has the blonde killer and our weird toothed Arnold Schwarzenegger guy. They're in that, and they're thwarted because Kabukiman, who is now Clown Man, sprays silly string all over the windshield. And for a whole 5 minutes, they're just calling each other weenies in the front seat of the car. Hey, you weenie. Which plays into the end of the movie.
Wait, because there's actual weenies. That's so stupid.
Oh my god, what a callback.
He said, yeah, because he says, we'll say it at the end.
It's so stupid. Anyway, they're calling each other weenie. Hey, I'm not a weenie, you're a weenie.
Also, they could have just turned on the windshield wipers. It's literally just silly string.
Or just stopped the car. The car was not malfunctioning. They could have stopped it, thrown Kabukiman off, and got out of the fucking car. Oh, man. Anyway, Griswold, Harry is arrested, and he's suspended. And this is when the captain's like, listen, if it were up to me, I'd give you another shot. Why? You are behaving so erratically, and you were dressed every time we catch you. You're dressed
just as a clown or a Kabukiman.
It's fucking insane. Oh man, he goes to Lotus's house and now he's normal. He meets the monkey named Toyota, who we are told was born in the back of a 2000 CT. Oh man. Also, randomly Harry's like, "Oh, by the way, I ate all the worms." She's like, "Cool." So we totally skip that scene. Oh man. And they start, he's like, "I'm here to train. I'm here to become Kabukiman." And we believe that.
Right. Dude, I love that Lotus trains him, and her training is just literally beating the shit out of him. There's no montage of him learning moves or anything.
No.
It's just him getting his ass kicked.
No. He gets his ass kicked, does a couple things, and then all of a sudden is a superhero. Also, he quits not halfway through. He quits after the first exercise. Because she is just smashing his dick with a kendo stick. And then is separate these bags of rice into piles of color. Which he does twice. And then he quits and he's like, "I'm so sick of this shit." And then Lotus beats the shit out of him. And then one of my favorite scenes in the movie, Harry and Lotus trading fucking haymakers in the middle of a New York City street. Blows to the face. It's unbelievable.
Honestly, it was early 90s, so people probably didn't even realize a movie was being filmed.
No.
It was just
Lloyd,
a day in the life. Yeah.
Lloyd did not pay for permits for this.
Yeah, there's no permits. Yeah, there's no permits.
Oh, man. Yeah, so that's that. And then and then they sit down and they have this heart-to-heart where fucking Harry confesses his love by being like, "Hey, while we were beating the crap out of each other, I noticed you also have the perfect form." She's like, "Oh, Harry." That actually turns her on. Then he reads his haiku and he turns into Kabukiman. And that is all of the training he gets. Which, by the way, earlier she was like, "It takes a Kabukiman 27 years of training." Oh, man. It's so funny to think about, those old kung fu flicks, Shaw Brothers and stuff, that did those amazing montages that, literally did 20-year montages, right? To train, and this was, a single scene of him separating rice by color.
And quitting, and giving up.
And quitting.
Doing the exact opposite of all kung fu heroes do, because their whole MO is dedication and hard work.
Oh man, but we get Kabukiman crime fighting montage, which doesn't last long, but it's long enough, including dropping Troma wasabi mustard, which is just their stock of normal sludge that they usually use for Toxic Avenger.
Right. I thought that's what it was. I thought he was emptying a barrel of waste, toxic waste.
Yeah.
But no, it's wasabi.
Wasabi mustard, which would do nothing. Turning people into giant human sushi. Strangles and ties a guy up with noodles in a cab. Oh my god. And then my favorite kill in the whole movie. Kabukiman has decided he's going to go back to the church. He's going to confront all the bad guys. He walks in and he's like, "Time to take a picture." And he pulls out this cartoonishly large cardboard camera. Takes a picture of him and it turns the man, and it's our jacked friend, our big jack guy. And by taking the picture, it turns him into hot dogs. AKA weenies, which they were arguing about before.
And he says something along the lines of "Oh no, I guess I am a weenie."
Yeah, the hot dogs that have no mouths or eyes. Say that.
Also, we didn't mention Sergeant Kabukiman has his own theme song.
Dude, he does. And what did you think of it?
Dude, it's funny. I had it stuck in my head all day so I could like hum it on the show, and I couldn't tell you for the life of me how it goes right now.
Same. Absolutely the same.
It was catchy enough, you know?
It was like Kabukiman.
It's real dumb.
Oh, man. But it probably cost a lot to make, which is insane.
No, dude, there's no way. There's no way. Hire any fucking bum off the street and make that.
Well, the Troma villains are back. They're trying to kill him. But it all backfires because Kabukiman's ready this time. It seemed like he was pretty ready the first time also, but whatever.
Dude, that's so funny you say that, because I thought that too. Like, because this time he's supposed to be like ready to go and trained, and honestly, just as effective as he was in the park. You know,
dude, he dismantled everyone in the park.
There's no training that was needed.
Yeah. He lights one guy on fire, throws him off a building, stabs a guy in the face with his fan, and then Joe, this guy, the fucking blonde-haired guy, uses a fucking bazooka on the roof. And dude, it's a bazooka. What do you expect? You're expecting a gigantic explosion. He blows up 4 potted plants, and they focus on the potted plants like as if you're gonna be like, not the potted plants.
You're on the same page as me right now, because that stuck out so much to me. Like, Lloyd must have just had enough money at that scene for like a couple of M80s. It was like, what can I blow up? And like, let's stick these cherry bombs in these potted plants. And call it a wrap.
Joe, it's so unbelievable.
A fucking rocket launcher.
In any other movie, it's like a fucking car. It's like a fucking building.
Literally anything.
Literally 4 ceramic potted plants. You could kick. And it explode. Least impressive thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, it was my favorite. Yeah. And that happens. And then while that's happening, him and Lotus are up there, and she's like, just jump, you have the power of flight, which we didn't know about. And neither did he. So they jump off the building. You don't know if they're dead, but they survived the blast at least. And then Kabukiman just starts flying around. In the middle of battle, just begins flying around New York City. He throws up on some lawyers. And then he goes back to the church where he takes the Reverend outside, and he flies him over the Empire State Building and is like, basically he says, I'm going to shove this up your ass, in so many words. And he's like, okay, I'll confess everything. Which he does. Now, oh God, this movie like ended like 4 times, didn't it?
It did. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, my only qualm with it is that it felt like it went too long, because there was a conclusion.
Yeah.
You know, you could have just ended it and wrapped it up.
Joe, there's even an end to the end, and then it just restarts again. Like, the end ends, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, we were just joking. What the fuck? Well, Harry and Lotus, I guess they have a sex scene. It's totally unnecessary for the third act of a film, because we have like
Agreed.
We have like 20 minutes left, and then we get this insanely passionate sex scene that is just not necessary and has dubbed in kissing noises. So it's like over a sex scene. It made me want to be sick. It lasts for so long, and then midway through sex, Harry turns into Kabukiman and is like, gotta go. And disappears for seemingly no reason, right? Like, because then he comes back like 2 seconds later and is like, "Ooh, I thought the windows were left open." And the only reason that happens is because now Lotus is gone, and the psychopath is in his bed. Nothing happens while he leaves. It's so weird.
It's so stupid. Also, nobody ever in the history of anything has been about to get laid and like, I think I left the windows open, and just got up and left. You know?
Oh my god. So the insane looking guy, he reveals that they're going to feed her to the tigers, and he's now weaker without her. By doing this, he kind of turns Harry back into a cop. And I'm not sure what this scene was supposed to be. I'm going to be honest with you. Because Harry's a cop, and this villain that we've seen the whole time, who's like super sadistic, a great villain, he's like, what are you going to do? And Harry's like, what do you think I'm going to do? And you're like, oh, he's going to shoot him. And Harry pulls out the good cop thing. Is like, you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. The guy takes one step and Harry shoots him in the fucking brain. And he doesn't die. He just kind of like stumbles around for a couple minutes. And that's the end of that guy who was like stuck around for 2 fucking hours. Avoided dying, and all it took was him getting shot by Harry as a human being.
That's so funny. So anticlimactic. The guy was such a menace.
He was a true menace. He was involved in every bad thing that happened. All it took was shooting him. Oh boy. Well, Harry finds Lotus's monkey, who this is when they start making him speak, because he just keeps being like, Lotus, Lotus. In this weird dubbed over, like, between like, Lotus. And then Harry decides to Harry's like, show me where she went. Why would the monkey know? But he follows the monkey and even says like, this better not be a banana factory. I wish they did that in the movie so badly. And then like you'll hear the monkey just randomly in the background being like, car coming, car coming. Car coming. And the monkey talks so much in this scene that Harry even at one point is like, shh. Because he's just going to like draw attention from these guys. A talking monkey. Oh man. And we find out that like all that the like origin, the mythology is very real. So they need a monkey to ride a jaguar. So they have a lemur and a jaguar. They have a tiger who needs to eat a I forget the word they used, nubile young woman, right? And a couple other things. Oh, a dragon has to jump through a hoop.
Yes.
which is through the stars, but so all these things actually have to happen for the evil one to come back. But don't worry, Griswold and the monkey are on the case, and Griswold dismantles a security guard by covering his eyes with a bra, which somehow stops him from screaming. Stops him from screaming. One of the weirder scenes in the movie. And then Harry and the monkey are sitting there, and he's like, "Listen, monkey, you go this way. I'm gonna go this way, and it's gonna be perfect. We'll take him out." And then what happens is Harry runs out, falls over a pile of boxes while shooting an assault rifle at all sides. Dude, just spraying bullets at everything. And somehow manages not to kill Lotus, who's just chained up to a wall at this point. He manages to kill not a lot of people, to be honest. I think he kills 2 people. And then, meanwhile, the monkey captures the main villain at gunpoint. Behind a car. The monkey's holding a gun. Oh my god. And then the cops show up and they arrest him.
Dude, and you think so?
It's the end of the movie, but there's 13 minutes left.
Right. It's the second false ending. Like, give me a break.
I actually thought this was the end. I really did, and I was like, what are they going to do for the next 13 minutes?
Like, I mean, like, why wouldn't it be? You know, it was climatic enough, right?
Well, we get a switcheroo because I don't even understand what happens here, but just
Sean, it makes no sense. I honestly rewound it, and like I was super tired, so people can correct me. I could have missed it twice, but like I watched it and rewound it because I was like, wait, what? Because he's handcuffed and he's like, man, not so fast, and then he just like leaves and like goes into the cage and
The tiger
makes the tiger attack.
Yeah.
Makes the tiger attack that girl.
And he's like, "Oh, the tiger attacked her. My plan is fucking."
But it's not even the girl that he wanted her to attack.
No, he was like, "This girl will do."
That's exactly right. He's like, well, you know what? I love it because Lloyd just completely bent the rules. They're like hammering home exactly what needs to happen for the last 90 minutes. And he's just like, well, actually, this could work too. And then somehow escapes police custody and his restraints to let the tiger out and attack this other girl.
Well, and because that the tiger takes control, or the tiger starts eating the nubile, he starts gaining powers, and he starts vomiting and turning into the evil one. And Harry, you would think, would be able to control this situation, but he's knocked out because he ran into a cop. like exactly how you're imagining. Two guys just running into each other. And falling down and being knocked unconscious.
Also, this transformation is disgusting, right?
It's insane.
Like legitimate. He spent all his budget on it. Like it's disgusting. It looks great. What's more disgusting, this transformation or that disgusting slob that's in every one of his movies eating donuts, watching the transformation?
Joe, that dude has literally like 5 minutes on camera in this movie by doing nothing. He just keeps cutting to him and food is falling out of his mouth.
Dude, it's true. But this scene in particular, they stay on him for longer. And like the way, honestly, it like turned me off for eating donuts, like possibly ever again. It's so vile and disgusting. It makes my stomach turn.
And do you remember
all the powder all over him?
Do you remember the way Lloyd talked to that guy on the set of Poultry Guys? Did you watch those behind the scenes?
I did.
And do you remember?
I think that guy died.
He did die, but Lloyd talked down to him so badly. Like, it's like those people that we know in real life in our group of friends that we talk about, where like the nicer you are to them, the worse they treat you. Because this guy was like dedicated to Lloyd, and somehow Lloyd was always like, "You stupid idiot, you stupid fucking idiot." I'm like shitting on him, be like, he can't act, he's fucking terrible. Like, Lloyd, you put him in the fucking movie. No one has.
In every movie. Yeah, you've been doing this for like 20 years, Lloyd. Nobody's demanded it.
Oh man, and the evil one, it's insane looking too. He's got this bug creature that's shooting acid and melting people's faces. It's pretty cool. And then he turns into a larva, and again, as you said, we know this because everyone's narrating what's happening. Lotus is like, "Oh, he has now entered the larva stage." Like, Lloyd, we get it. Like, put it in a fucking cocoon. Like, we've all gone through like 3rd grade science. Oh my god. And then he turns into a cocoon. And by the way, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm fine with this movie. This movie was fun to watch. They could have introduced this a little earlier. You know what I mean? Why not transform this guy into a bad guy way earlier?
Why was the 3rd act not Kabukiman trying to stop the evil one for like, the entire time instead of the last 2 minutes? Like you spent so much time and energy on this transformation. Ultimately for like 2 total minutes,
It should have been the halfway point of the movie, and then this dude in makeup is running around, causing chaos.
Right.
Really, the evil one didn't do all that much damage.
He did nothing, to be honest.
Oh, boy. Well, Harry and Lotus start making out, which, in my head, by the way, Harry's still knocked out, but they start making out. And wait, also, there was a weird scene where the evil one is holding 2 dead cops' heads, and I'm pretty sure he was going to make them kiss, and I'm pretty sure it's cut out of the movie. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, he's. I was like, why is he holding those two heads?
And then they got closer and closer. And right before the lips touched, it just cut. I feel like that's on the chopping room floor somewhere of him being like, like making the mouth noises. But it's okay because Lotus and Lotus starts making out with Harry while he's knocked out, which I thought was to like transfer the power to Lotus. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning,
Right.
but it's not. It just turns him into Kabuki Man. Oh man, the Kabuki Man and the evil ones start fighting. Now, if you're following along with this story, which you're not, so we have 2 of the 3 things that need to happen for the evil one to gain full power, right? The dragon jumped through a hoop. This happened in the stars. The constellations. It was terrible. The tiger ate a nubile. Done, right? So the last thing, and this is my favorite scene in the whole fucking movie. The last thing was we needed a monkey to ride a jaguar. And they have purchased a lemur and a jaguar. But no one freed them from the cage. Unfortunately, Lotus's monkey has gotten into a jaguar motor vehicle and started to try and drive it. So, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is the biggest dad joke. So, while this is happening, the evil one starts gaining power. And they're like, wait, there's a monkey driving a jaguar. And Lotus's monkey is driving a car. And all they have to do to stop it is pull him out, which they do. They just open the door. They're like, hey, monkey, stop. And the monkey stops and Kabuki Man wins the fight. Like, what is Lloyd doing? Why is he writing this? There's no way that's in the original script.
Right.
Dude, like if he was making up the snake going up somebody's ass on the spot while filming, like none of this was planned.
I love it.
Oh my god, I'm fucking crying, dude. A monkey driving a Jaguar car. Oh. Well, that's it, though. That's fucking it. They take the monkey out of the car, and the evil one explodes. The constellations turn into Kabuki Man, and then it somehow turns into the next day. But everyone's still on the pier. I don't know what happened. It's just daylight all of a sudden. And Harry walks out. He's beat up. And the captain's like, you're off suspension and on vacation. Classic cop there. And then, we get Kabuki Man's final flyover of any superhero movie. But everyone's like, who is that guy? And then they find out it's Kabuki Man. They're like, Kabuki Man. And then he fucking crashes.
Of course.
And that is the end of Sergeant Kabuki Man, N.Y.P.D.
Solid Troma flick.
It is. There's a note in here. Sergeant Kabuki Man is perhaps best known for its car chase scene. This is what you were talking about, right?
Yes.
Several carloads of gangsters chase Harry Griswold. They flip the Ford Thunderbird. So wait, did they film that? Then inexplicably explodes. Oh yeah, they started using this
for the rest of his movies.
Yeah. So but they actually filmed it for this.
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting. That's so fucking funny. And they used it in an Xbox game.
I saw that.
That's amazing.
Which Lloyd was like an extra on for some reason.
Dude, he just has like friends. Like, some people go and work at Troma and then just, Was there ever a second Kabuki Man?
No, there was not.
How did that happen? I mean, I know why. Listen, I'm not an idiot. This movie's fucking terrible, but... wow. I'm just surprised that they didn't go for it,
In 2006, a sequel / spin-off called Sergeant Kabuki Man and the Lesbians of Bone Jack High was started production but was never finished. Can't understand why.
Bone Jack High. Oh my god. He had some small cameos, Romeo and Juliet, and he's in the new class of Nukem High. Dude, they really pushed Kabukiman, though. Like, I swear to God, in the early 2000s, like, when we were on the internet looking up movies constantly, I swear Kabukiman was, like, their big push. And I was always like, who the fuck gives a fuck about Kabukiman?
I agree. His name was everywhere.
Now we know. Now we share the love. Let's see if there's any good quotes here from Lloyd. Joe. Okay. Well, I found it. All you have to do is read like 2 sentences into Lloyd's interviews, and like you get something amazing. This is not to say he's talking about the release and how poorly it did, although he claims all the reviews were positive, which not true. He even says most of the Troma fans were disappointed because it didn't go the Troma way. This is not to say that I, along with my fans, don't like the film. In some respects, quite honestly, it is one of our best. Would you agree with that?
One of Troma's best. I think I would. I think I would, to be honest.
I mean, the bar's not that high. Right?
It's not. You know, Nukem High and Toxic Avenger
are great.
But I mean, when you say they're good, what does that mean? You know?
It's
when
fairly,
we're talking about Troma.
He says, it's a fairly well put together, well acted, and well shot. It's just that it could have been so much more if I had fully dedicated myself to
I think he's right. I think I agree.
Yeah, wait till the second half of this. It could have been so much more if I had fully dedicated myself to one choice or the other. Michael Hurst, Jeff Sass, Pat Rick, he's naming a million people, Gaga, all wanted me to make a film that was more mainstream. All of these people are extremely talented and intelligent. With Gaga and Namco, Troma could have been propelled into a new stratosphere of interlocking media. Michael and Jeff have been shown nearly infallible heads for business. Rick had a feeling for children's entertainment that was profound. Still, I'm certain they were all wrong. So he's basically like, all these people were telling me to do it one way, and I didn't. And it would have been a huge success, but I still think they're wrong. Now, here's the best part. I miss the snake going up the ass. I'm upset that we only intimated that toddlers were mutilated at the start of the film instead of actually showing it. I regret only having worms being eaten when we could have perhaps had someone chowing down on a water buffalo's penis. Not enough heads were sliced. There wasn't enough vomiting or pissing, and there wasn't nearly the necessary quote of hot monkey love. Perhaps in forgetting these things, I also for a moment forgot my place in the world. Would Kabukiman be better with the Troma treatment, the true Troma treatment?
Yes, of course it would.
I think it would, and I think he should have done it right after.
I do agree. I mean, I understand, like you said, why they didn't make a sequel, but he should have, and up the ante.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well have, right? They filmed it all and then cut it all, so you might as well have just gone for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Kabukiman. You approve? You want people to watch it? What do you think?
I do approve. I approve.
I approve. I think it's worth a watch, right?
If you're gonna watch a Troma movie, don't watch Rabid Grannies. Watch this.
I think for our Patreon fans, I will throw it out there. I'll find a link to it and maybe send it out there for them.
Dude, he used to have everything on his YouTube channel. I don't understand.
This one is not there. You do have to pay for it, which it's not expensive. It's $2.99. But listen, it's also Kabukiman, and like, honestly, I don't know what version you get with the $2.99. To be honest with you, like, I really don't.
Right.
So, because if you got the PG-13 one, there's no chance that's worth it. There's no fucking chance that's worth it. But yeah, no, it was fun. I approve it. This is what the Troma, the Trovember is supposed to be. I don't know how many more of these there are that will stand the test of time for a Trovember next year, but we can give it a shot.
Agreed.
Next week is, although I would like to do one thing. I see we got so many gimmicks and shit coming up. Next week is our Thanksgiving episode. 2 days before Thanksgiving. Give thanks, and we are doing, what the fuck is it called? Blood
Rage.
Blood Rage. I cannot remember that movie for the life of me. Have you ever seen Blood Rage?
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, I thought we did it for the show. Maybe I just watched it. The answer is I don't know. I don't fucking know. Let me check Letterboxd.
Do you know what's funny? Last week during Rabid Grannies, I was like, I've never seen this movie. Looked at my letterbox, had seen it like a few years ago.
Yeah, I've seen Blood Rage. I gave it 3 stars.
There's a Ted Raimi appearance. Set on Thanksgiving, the film follows a woman and her adult son who are stalked at their remote apartment community by the son's unhinged twin brother, who has escaped from a psychiatric institution after allegedly killing a man in cold blood years earlier.
Dude, are you sure we didn't fucking do this? Because it has the lady from Mary Hartman.
Joe, I've never seen this.
Dude, I don't believe you.
Are you talking about Louise Lacer?
Yeah, I am. Dude, I don't believe this.
I've never seen this movie, ever. But then again, I said that about Rabid Grannies. Wait, let me check my letterbox, because I logged.
Nah, I checked yours. You didn't log it. So
bro, I didn't see it. I've never
Why the fuck did I watch this? I remember. I honestly remember it well. Like I'm pretty sure the kills are fucking amazing. So I'm excited to watch it again. But
yeah, people liked it. People talked to us about it a lot.
Why would I watch this in my free time?
Film was. I'm excited. Dude, you know what these people do? You know what these people do? I'm sorry to interrupt you. On the Wikipedia page for Blood Rage, it says, in other media, Blood Rage was covered on the Thanksgiving episode of the podcast Disasters in the Making. What is...
What the fuck is that?
Exactly. Joe, these fucking guys are geniuses.
Yeah, why are we not updating? like every shitty movie. Dude, go on the Kabukiman page right now and just update this episode. This movie was covered in the horror show.
Joe, that's what it should be. Because, like, dude, I'm looking at this Disasters in the Making podcast. You've never seen a shittier movie in your entire show, your entire fucking life. Never seen anything so stupid. Still fucking making.
Yeah, you want to hear something fucking stupid? I play daily fantasy sports. This has nothing to do with the movies. Yeah. I've been watching because I put money on the on the late game with the Patriots versus the Ravens, and I was winning the entire time. And Cam Newton took a knee, and it caused me to lose by 0.0.
No,
you fucking motherfuckers! All right, God. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Our listener Kelsey T had watched the new Black Christmas movie and said it has us written all over it. We should do that for December.
I would love to do that. I've actually heard about the new one because I think it's different, right? It's significantly different. And wait,
sounds very different.
And did we, Joe? We never even did the original Black Christmas.
No, but we did see it in theaters.
We watched it in a theater together, and that was a lot of fun. That was a great movie. Like, I hadn't seen it because it just pissed me off so much. It sounded so stupid, but it was fucking great. I loved it a lot. Great movie. Yeah. I loved it a lot. Yeah, Black Christmas. I'm just looking.
The new one seems interesting.
All right, let's do it. Black Christmas. We'll come up with some other. Dude, you know what? The Christmas horror game, not great. Which makes sense.
Well, we did all 5. We did all 5. Yeah, right. We did all 5 Silent Night, Deadly Nights.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Dude,
actually, I don't know if we did. I don't know if we did the first one, but we definitely did the other ones because we did the shitty Bill Moseley one for part 3s, I just remember him hitchhiking like a fucking idiot.
Dude,
We definitely did part 2. And then we did 5 and 4 out of order.
as we do. We'll come up with something. I mean, we don't have to do Christmas theme. We could do, winter themed.
Sure.
Whatever. I get a lot of like requests for like rare exports, but I've seen that shit. I don't know. I feel like it'd be
Rare
boring to
exports-
talk about.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be good for us.
No. And it's not that it's bad or good. It's just like kind of in between. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
All right. Well, we got blood, whatever. Bloodstorm, Blood Rage next week. So check us out there. I'm losing my mind. I got to go to bed. All right. Blood Rage next week. We're excited to talk about it. It's going to be a Thanksgiving episode. We're at IHateHorror.com. Instagram. I'm drunk. I'm so sorry. Instagram.com. At Instagram at IHateHorror. What's our Instagram tag? I hate horror or I hate horror? Okay, listen.
It's I hate horror.
I'm going to start over. I'm definitely going to leave that in. All right, you can find us at IHateHorror.com, Instagram at IHateHorror, Twitter at IHateHorrorShow. I will have the shop up very soon. We have ordered the enamel pins. Our buddy Knights of the Pins coming through on that. I felt bad. I think I might have. I said something about the price last week, and then he was like, "Hey man, I heard what you said about the price," and then I felt like I don't remember what I said about it, but I felt really fucking bad. So he's the best, man. He's really great, and he's at Knights of the Pins on Instagram, and he helped us get these enamel pins ordered. It still cost a fucking chunk of change, but listen, it's worth it. You guys are gonna love them. They're gonna be fucking great. And we'll get those up soon. So I'm going to get the shop up and running, and then I'm trying to get it so like you can put in your email in advance and then get alerts when the sale, when we open up the store, because we don't keep stock or anything. So it's kind of a first come first serve thing. Limited. They're like streetwear brands. So keep an eye out for that. All the stickers are going out for Patreon. Thanks to all the Patreon fans too, that you guys have been amazing. Next weekend, I'm going to do a live stream. If Joe can hop on, he will. We'll do like a separate show. It'll be cool. And that's all I've got. Joe, what's your Instagram?
Boognish 1985.
What a guy. What a fucking guy. All right. That's it, man. So next week is Blood Rage. It should be great. And for Joe, I'm sorry. I drink so much wine. For Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Thank you.
Adios.
I dissect movies all fucking day.
I wanna play.
I'm gonna watch what I'm not supposed to watch.
Dismember.
A fucking zombie getting sliced and diced.
The monster. Mutilate.